Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a great week so far. This is a video that I am excited to deliver. This is going to be information packed. We're going to be looking at the charts, we're going to be looking at the price, we're going to be looking at the possibility of some more downside for the crypto space as a whole. And we're also going to be going over some industry-defining announcements to come at the Cardano Summit. Guys, strap yourselves in. We've got a lot to talk about. Before I start this video, before we dive into any charts, let me just make this very clear from the start. In regards to crypto, I am nothing but bullish. I am so unbelievably bullish on this technology, on the individual cryptos within the cryptocurrency space, that I cannot put it into words. I think cryptocurrencies are going to impact the world in a big way. I think blockchain is a technological revolution in much the same way that the internet was, and we had stocks such as Amazon, which we're of course going to look at. This is Amazon in the dot-com boom. I've done this plenty of times on this channel, but in times like this, when the market is selling off and we could potentially be looking at the possibility of more downside, it doesn't have to happen. We are of course going to cover it in detail. But it's important to look at just how an emerging market acts. And one thing is that is very apparent is emerging markets have volatility attached to them as they are trying to find their way and establish their feet in the world. So where I want to start is by taking a look at the crypto space as a whole. We're at $1.9 trillion. We've sold off significantly, guys. Ultimately, we covered in yesterday's video that Evergrande played a big part in this. It was really not a symptom of the cryptocurrency markets that caused us to sell off, but a symptom of the financial markets, the global financial markets as a whole. As one of the biggest property developers in China, essentially is looking like they are going to go bankrupt. They can't service their debt anymore. This had a knock-on effect on the financial markets. The German stock market sold off, the UK stock market, the US stock markets as a whole sold off yesterday based on this. And of course, cryptocurrencies being a liquid or a very liquid market very much bore the brunt of this. So really where I want to start, guys, is with some potential news coming up. Now, this is an article. I caught this on the IOHK Media Twitter. You heard it here first. Cardano promises industry-defining announcement at its biggest ever summit. And we're going to dive into this article. Cardano says it will make some industry-defining announcement at its huge summit this weekend. The company behind the blockchain are geared up to stage a Cardano Summit 2021, a hybrid event being held in person across 6 hubs in Africa, Europe, and the US, bringing together blockchain enthusiasts, industrial experts, and special guests to reflect on the project's impressive year. The Cardano Summit will also be looking into the future with some exclusive announcements. It goes on. It gives a list of some of the people that will be attending. The Cardano Summit will take place on the 25th to the 26th, just days before the Crypto AM Summit and Awards, and will feature prominent political figures, tech and business leaders with some exclusive announcements which have been described as groundbreaking. This is huge, and when the price sells off for Cardano, nobody really cares anymore about the underlying asset, if you will, the underlying project, which as an investor is a bit of a stupid thing to do. The price in the short term is really irrelevant. Just like Amazon back in the dot-com boom, nobody wanted to touch Amazon. I think it went from like $107 to $7 or something. Nobody was buying it here because the price had put them off buying. We all know what happened to Amazon. By the way, people think Bitcoin's volatile. I think Amazon has like 30% sell-offs a year, or round about that. Don't quote me on that, but they have some pretty significant sell-offs per year. So they're still very volatile to this day. And really, this was the dawn of the internet. We had stocks that came out on the back end of that, internet stocks. Amazon was indeed one, and you can see that in the early days it was very, very volatile. And this is just a part of any emerging market that's trying to find its feet. So what we're going through for Cardano right now, this is huge news obviously about the Cardano Summit. I'll be attending obviously virtually, not in person. But I'm absolutely excited for this. Cardano sold off really just due to the fact that, you know, we've already covered it. But this video is really about maybe reinstalling some confidence for some of you out there. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor and you guys make your own decisions in this world. But what I am here to do is to perhaps give you a little bit of reassurance. I haven't sold a single Cardano to date. And I'm not going to until we hit some of these price targets that I have set out for it. This, what we're currently going through, ladies and gentlemen, is just a pullback within a bull market. There is a macro trend at play for crypto, and that is up, guys. This is the roadmap that we have set out for Cardano, and after every move to the upside, you get a pullback. That's just how markets work, and that is exactly what we're going through today. Yet it's got people very, very worried. Understandably, if you're new to investing, if you're new to markets, not only that, these arrows that I have here for you guys are every time after a big upgrade, or hard fork, I should say. So this was the Alonzo hard fork. This was the Shelley, and this was the Basho. Not Basho, sorry, Byron. After every single hard fork, you get a sell-off. This has just been amplified with the fact that the markets in general are selling off due to the kind of macroeconomic scale of things. Now, yesterday, late at night, I put a video out where I spoke about the potential for more downside for the cryptocurrency space. If you've not already watched that video, I put it up late last night, so many of you probably wouldn't have clocked that it was up. Go and give that a watch, and we go into detail why we think potentially there could be some more downside to come for Bitcoin. This, of course, will drag the entire space with it, as Bitcoin is the driver of value within the cryptocurrency markets. And it's really due to the kind of structure you're setting up. We know Cardano had a head and shoulders take place. This was your left shoulder, head, and this was your right shoulder. Your right shoulder was significantly weaker than your left shoulder, which is a precursor for the downside. We gave you a target of that, which has pretty much been met. Now, when I talk about more the potential for more downside, that doesn't mean that we are going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. We could bottom out from here. So this was your target from your head and shoulders. You draw from the neckline to the top of the head, and you work your way down. You can see we pretty much met it spot on. It also lines up with this swing low here. And also we can see there are areas of resistance that often do flip to support in an upward trending market. So there are also a lot of similarities between this sell-off we're currently going through and the one that we saw over here. But this video, we're not really diving into this into too much detail because, of course, we really, at moments like this where the markets sell off, you want to be looking at Bitcoin and what's Bitcoin going to do. Yes, altcoins can move within that, but ultimately the overall market is largely still very much tethered to Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin's chart and you look at the total money in crypto, they look exceptionally similar, just with a little bit more kind of sharpness to them. So this is where we are today. You set up in very much this similar manner. We made the video yesterday unaccomplished as well. The guy that originally called for this Wyckoff accumulation, or distribution I should say, has also called for it over here, but he did say it doesn't have to happen. This is the thing. It absolutely does not have to happen. Just because it's happened once doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. But the structure is exceptionally similar, ladies and gentlemen. You can either overlay this. We did it. Please, if you've not already watched yesterday's video when we talk about the fact that is Bitcoin going to go lower, we really looked at this in a lot more detail. But you can see just how similar these kind of price movements are, guys. I mean, they are undeniably similar. Does that mean they're going to repeat? No, it doesn't. But the reason I'm bringing this up is just to kind of alert you to possibility of more downside. My cat, Satoshi, has decided to interrupt me. Chuck her over there. Not chuck her, gently place before anyone calls the RSPCA. So yeah, that's really where we're at, guys. And I just want to... The reason I brought this up was because I believe there's going to be so much good news to come out of the Cardano Summit. Cardano's future is an absolutely bright one. In much the same way that Amazon, regardless of the price back here and this volatile price movement that came after, you can see just how volatile this is. This isn't orthodox for a financial market, but it's an emerging market that, you know, Amazon was, and we all know the story of Amazon and where it is today. And I think cryptocurrencies are following a similar trajectory. Crypto is going to impact the world in a big way, for the good and bad. When we talk about things like surveillance and security and things like that, you know, they may have slightly a bit of a negative effect, but on the whole, good. You know, it's technological revolution. So we've got blockchain, which is the one I believe we're in. The one before that was the internet, and the one prior to that was PCs. When PCs first came about, people wrote them off as like game consoles, evil, the whole, you know, negative kind of spin on things. Certainly the industry that was already in place spoke very negatively, like we're seeing today with crypto. And now if you look, everybody, if you have a smartphone, you're using a computer. Everybody uses computers in much the same way that the internet and that technological revolution took over. Blockchain is going to be a underlying technology that people use without even realize they're using it. It really is. I mean, in this article, they speak about how they're planning on onboarding 1.7 billion adults who currently don't have any kind of financial social service. This is what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you're a part of. And the reason I'm making this video is because I know what it's like. So many people, they go, I lost money, you know, I'm down 20 grand or whatever it is. You've not lost anything until you sold. And in much the same way, if we look at Cardano and the kind of chart that we're on, you know, you guys know that I think we've got this Elliott wave theory in play for Cardano. Very similar to me. I believe you're just in your fifth wave, and you're in your second wave down, ready to embark on your third wave, which is going to be magical, ladies and gents. That also ties in very nicely with how I believe the year is going to end, following the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, and so on and so forth. So that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. My cat's going to make another attempt over to my computer, which is quite common. So yeah, that's really where we're at. I don't think you've got anything to worry about. This is just a pullback. For me, this is a buying opportunity. If Bitcoin does indeed go lower, it will take the rest of the market with it. There is absolutely similarity between the structure that you're setting up today and the structure that we've just been through. On top of that, we are seeing weakness. Just to give you the worst case scenario, although I don't happen to think that you're going to get to the technical target of this head and shoulders. Satoshi. So you go from your neckline, a bit of an inaccurate neckline. You go to the top of your head. And you draw from the break down. And that puts you around about 37,000. Which also ties up very nicely with your kind of local bottom here, and you'd also be testing a number of other levels. I actually happen to think this swing high here, around about 40k, is going to act as substantial support, but we'll see. So that's really where I am at, ladies and gentlemen. I just thought this was an important video to make, just because I know how it is, guys. I know when we sell off, in much the same way we sold off here, everyone at this point is very down in the dumps, pessimistic and negative. And then look, we went on to absolutely smash it and make new all-time highs and went up 200% in literally a month. And we are now currently, we've retraced 36% from that. So it just goes to show, you know, if one thing history has taught us with crypto is hodling works, typically. And I believe it's going to continue to work. And ultimately, guys, the key here is just to hang in there. If you haven't got any money to buy the dip, remember this isn't financial advice, the best thing you can do is just hodl. Don't try and be smart and sell these markets thinking that you're going to get in at a lower price, because it could go the other end and you could end up actually having less in your hodl pot. What I'm personally doing is I've accumulated some crypto, a number of small altcoins. We're going to make a video on the altcoins that I accumulated during this dip, and I've actually only put half as much as I was typically going to, just in case we do sell off even more to the downside. If we do come up and potentially start to break some of these local highs, then of course I'll be a little bit late, but at least I've had that kind of safety net. So I put half the money that I was going to on this dip in, and I'm going to put half of it if we do go lower, hopefully with the aims to pick up some more discounted crypto. That's really all I have for you in this video, ladies and gents. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Remember the macro trend. We're expecting big things for this fifth wave. We're still expecting a parabolic blow off to the end of this year. Things are looking good to me, guys. I'm not worried in the slightest, and I don't believe you should be either. This is just a pullback after seeing a substantial move to the upside. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. We would be wrong in this entire structure if you come below the start of your fourth wave. So if your one wave that you're currently in within your fifth wave comes below, then you invalidate the entire structure. We're not seeing that yet, and don't believe we are going to see that. I just think there's going to be a little bit of turmoil. Remember, Bitcoin doesn't have to sell off. It may not. We will see. That's all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks a lot for watching.